Good afternoon, Richmond. You're listening to 91.5 WECI. I'm Simon Levine, and this is the news. On today's show, the search continues for a new Earlham president. A Hagerstown man flees from police on a snowmobile, and more. But first, new details emerge about the shooting death of Richmond native Jeffrey Lambert.
Court documents made public last week revealed new information surrounding the shooting of 25-year-old Jeffrey Lambert. 20-year-old Nathan Tillery had sold some fake marijuana to suspect Matthew Cody Tomlinson for $5 on the day of the shooting. Tomlinson told police he confronted Tillery when he realized the substance he bought was not marijuana, but that Tillery refused to refund the money. Tomlinson discussed the incident with suspect Victor Alexander Lewis, and the two planned to retaliate. Police reports show that Tomlinson knocked on the door of Tillery's residence later that night. When Tillery answered, Lewis proceeded to hit him in the face with a gun. The victim was shot once in the chest when he intervened in the confrontation. Tomlinson has been charged with conspiracy to commit robbery and attempted robbery. Lewis has been charged with murder, conspiracy to commit robbery, attempted robbery, and battery. His trial date is May 3rd. For WECI News, this has been Laura Miller, sourcing from Robert Sullivan for PalItem.com.
Earlham indoor track season began on Saturday at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. The men finished 9th and the women came in 7th place. The winner of the track meet was Monmouth College. Their next meet will be at Anderson University on Saturday at 3 p.m. For WECI News, this has been Autumn Puckett, all sourcing from the Earlham Word.
With the weather pretty frigid outside, things keep heating up in Assembly Hall down in Bloomington. In less than a week after beating then 20th-ranked Illinois, the Indiana Hoosiers knocked off the 18th-ranked Minnesota Golden Gophers 60-57. With standout forward and leading scorer Christian Wofford out with a broken hand, IU got a big lift from guard Verdell Jones III, who returned from an injury in a victory over the Gophers. Terry Hutchins from the Indianapolis Star reports that it was Jones's three-pointer from the right corner as the shot clock expired with 2:02 to play that gave Indiana a 6-point lead. A few possessions later, Minnesota had the ball out of bounds with 5.8 seconds to play. Gophers guard Blake Hoffarber got off a three-pointer from the left corner with IU guard Daniel Moore defending. Indiana's Victor Oladipo grabbed a missed shot as time expired. The Hoosiers have won 3 games in a row at Assembly Hall, keeping them undefeated at home in 2011. Verdell Jones and Tom Pritchard led Indiana with 12 points apiece. For WeSide News, this has been Marcus Bledsoe.
In local news, Earlham College begins interviewing for recent presidential search. As the search continues, student input as well as input from the entire Earlham community is still being sought by the Presidential Search Committee. The committee consists mostly of trustees, faculty, and staff. Through this ongoing process, Earlham students have agreed on several issues in which they would like the new president to focus on. The first being a more open or flexible view on the alcohol policy, and the other being the lack of coexistence among students. Local Earlham student states, "It's a responsibility of the whole community, and we ourselves have a huge role in changing that. It's our decision to make it united." President's Search Committee says the input is still valued as the search process continues. It was also suggested that the people read the Presidential Search blog at presidentialsearch.earlham.edu to stay updated on the progression of the search. For WECI News, this is Honey Cook sourcing from Allie Snyder for The Word.
In Hagerstown, a man was arrested while riding a snowmobile at speeds topping 81 miles per hour. The PalItem reports that 42-year-old Mark T. Faust, a Hagerstown native, was arrested on a preliminary charge of resisting law enforcement with a vehicle, which is a Class D felony. Faust was seen traveling at a high rate of speed on city streets, parking lots, and Indiana State Road 3 by State Police Trooper Tyler Painter, who clocked Faust's snowmobile at 81 miles per hour. After a brief escape, Painter spotted the snowmobile on Indiana State Road 3, but Faust refused to stop. The PalItem also reports that Faust drove into a parking lot after running into a Newcastle police officer and crashed the snowmobile after breaking one of the skids. Faust was launched from the machine and slid across the icy surface but did not suffer any injuries in the crash. He was released from Henry County Jail on $6,000 bond. For WeSide News, this has been Marcus Bledsoe.
Fans of Whitewater Community Television may need to start bracing for drastic changes to their favorite local programs. House Bill 1131 proposes to remove the franchise fee that Comcast currently pays the city of Richmond. Last year, Comcast paid the city over $440,000 in order to operate here. 40% of that money went to WCTV to provide a variety of programs to the area, while the rest of that money went into the city's general fund. If the Indiana General Assembly passes the bill, both the station and the city of Richmond would lose a significant amount of income. WCTV station manager Eric Marsh says that the measure would create a considerable challenge for the station to find funding. Whether or not the bill is passed, though, Marsh says that the station is trying to find additional sources of support. For WECI News, this has been Laura Miller, sourcing from Bill Engel for PalItem.com.
In Indianapolis, Metropolitan Police Department officer David Moore was buried in a private ceremony at Crown Hill Cemetery Friday morning. John Tootie of the Indianapolis Star reports that the burial was attended by relatives and dozens of fellow officers near the Heroes of Public Safety Memorial in Section 97. Due to the ice storm this week, the burial was delayed until Friday. It had been scheduled for Tuesday after his funeral at Conseco Fieldhouse. Moore, who was only 29 years old, was shot 4 times, twice in the head, on January 23rd, making a traffic stop, and died 3 days later. The Star also reports that prosecutors charged a 60-year-old ex-convict who had been released from jail due to a parole officer's error in Moore's killing. Moore was the first Indianapolis officer to be killed in the line of duty since 2004. For WeSide News, this has been Marcus Bledsoe.
To our listeners who've always wanted to know how to predict the future, you're in luck, at least when it comes to earthquakes. The Whitewater Valley chapter of the International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering and the Whitewater Valley Technical Society will host NASA employee Vern Vanderbilt at their upcoming celebration of Engineers Week. Vanderbilt graduated from Hagerstown High School and earned his doctorate degree in electrical engineering from Purdue University. He currently works at the NASA Ames Laboratory in California. Vanderbilt's talk next week will be about earthquake prediction and how technology has improved scientists' accuracy at judging when an earthquake will occur. You don't have to be a scientist to attend. This event is open to anyone who's interested in the science of earthquake prediction. For WECI News, this has been Laura Miller, sourcing from PalItem.com.
Well, folks, that's the news. I and all of the WeSci News Desk would like to thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.